Hey guys, Gina here. I'm still working my way through load, and I'm working on day 11. And I worked through the weekend on all of these layouts, and then I realized that I never did day 11. And I think this prompt was the one that really threw me for a loop, and I kind of just didn't know where to go, and then I got off track. So hence the big push to get caught up. So the prompt for day 11 was to scrapbook a lesson learned as an adult. And I mean, there's lots of things that we learn, and lots of things that I would tell my 18-year-old self or my 12-year-old self or whomever at whatever age that I've learned now. But in the same vein, I think that I don't really know how to scrapbook those things. So I wanted to take a more, I don't know, a funner twist, maybe a more light twist on the lesson learned, if you will. So what I've decided after thinking about this like most of the day, because now I'm behind and I really need to get this layout done, is growing up, we always, we hate eating our vegetables, and I thought that for this layout, like I hear my niece and nephews, and sometimes they'll say, when I get older, I won't have to eat my vegetables, because I'll eat whatever I want. Yeah, that's true. You'll be able to eat whatever you want, but you still have to eat your fruits and vegetables, or your vegetables, as the case may be. So I thought that I would take this picture of a stir fry I made. Stu and I are trying to eat healthier this year, so we're doing a lot more cooking at home, because I think that all of the restaurants in the neighborhood know us on a first name basis. So, in fact, they're like, where have you guys been when we do go in? So, I think that's good. But anyway, so I thought that I would take this picture that I took of this stir fry that I made and scrapbook it and just make the comment that even as an adult you have to eat your vegetables. So that's where I'm going with that. I pulled the Basic Gray Serenade collection, and I'm going to go with a green and I think green, black, and like a neutral tan kind of color. I'm thinking more like this color here, if you can see that there. And I would have to do something. This glare from that light up there is driving me nuts, so I'm going to have to do something about that. But because I rearranged my scrap room, and now I'm getting this terrible glare right here, and it's driving me bonkers. So my husband's looking into how to fix that. So, but anyway, back to what I was saying. Green, black, and then this tan kind of color. This very neutral kind of color. So I pulled the Basic Gray Serenade pack, like I said. This is a decorative border ribbon that I got a million years ago, and it's from Prima, and the copyright date on it is 2011. So it's not like it's not like 2008, but it's pretty old. I got it in a kit club that I belong to and haven't used it yet, so I thought I could try to use it on this. I pulled some bling, Say It in Pearls bling from Prima, so I thought I would try to use that. I made these tags for a green tag swap I was doing with Scrap Happy, and I didn't like how the alcohol ink turned out on them, but I didn't want to waste them either, so I thought maybe I'll try to incorporate them somehow in this layout just to use them up. I have this green ribbon. This is my Mind's Eye Lush Green Ribbon collection. I have now these. These are 2005. Now, obviously, I didn't buy them new because I got them at Big Lots for $1, but they're these little metal rim tags, and they have forks, knives, and spoons on them. And I thought, well, we're talking about food, maybe I can finally get rid of some of these. And, but they're, it's funny because they're, the copyright date is 2005. So, yeah, and I don't know. I kind of think they're cool. So I thought I'd get some use out of them. I pulled a Dear Lizzie collection of tags. This is the large tags, and I think this is from the Fifth and Frolic collection, I believe. And I thought I could use like maybe that Today. If you can see that, it's this one here says Today, or just some of these neutral ones to do some journaling. And there's also some green in that collection as well. And then I pulled my Stepping Stone alphabet stamps from Hero Arts and Studio Calico, and I pulled some ink from Memento. And I have to be honest, since I've rearranged my room, My Dewdrop inks are right over there. I can reach them as I'm sitting here, and then my other stamps are way over there. And so they're not as easy. And so I've been using these a lot more lately than I've been using like my Jenny Bolin inks or my Distress inks or anything like that, because I actually have to get up and go over there and get them. So that's just a little, I might do a room tour because I've rearranged everything since the last one, but we'll think about that after I get caught up on load. So thank you guys for watching, and I will talk to you next time. Hey guys, so I'm basically going to start by opening up this Serenade collection from Basic Ray and looking through all of the papers to decide which ones I want to use. And what I do is I put the ones that I know I don't want to use off to one side, and then the ones that I think I might use off to the other side. And I have to be honest, in this layout configuration, it the ones I thought I was going to use turn out to be the ones I don't use, and the ones I thought I wasn't going to use turn out to be the ones I do use. So it was quite a hilarious sort of thing. These are the 6x6 paper 6x6 patterns from the same paper collection, and they came in that card kit that I'm trying to get rid of. So I have the 12x12 and then those 6x6 papers that came in the kit. And here I am reaching over to the papers that I thought I wasn't going to use, and I'm thinking about them to see. I know I want to use this watercolored yellow green kind of paper for the background, and then I have that diagonal stripe green and black that I thought I would use. And there's the matting tool. I had to go find it because I took it over to my desk to answer all the comments you guys have been asking me about it. So there it is. So I had to go get it off of the desk. And the hardest part for me in using that matting tool is making sure that the picture doesn't move. So, and I'm actually going to double mat this photo, so I'm going to mat it once using the thinnest tool that comes in that kit, and then I'm going to use the thickest one. And as you can see, it's a matte thing, and I'm actually going to raise it up to the camera here and try to get it so that you can see that it's made from Dylan's laser cuts, but it will not focus. And I'm going to try really hard so that you can see it, but it will not focus on it. So anyway, on a couple of my other videos, I've put that link to where you can buy that down in the comments. So I thought I was going to mat that twice, but then I decided that maybe I needed a vertical element. So I turned that black paper to be more of a vertical orientation, and then I thought I'd use these stripes of this black and green diagonal across there. And then I really want to use these tags that I made for the tag swap that I did, but I wasn't happy with how they turned out, and then I couldn't get them to work correctly on this layout, so I'll eventually take that off. Here, I'm really going to try my best to get those used. But they didn't take up enough area on this layout to use them for this, so I eventually take them off. I used that Today tag from the Dear Lizzie collection. That's from Fifth and Frolic, and I'm going to back it with some black paper to make sure that the Today, that word can be seen, because just laying it on that background paper, that watercolored green and yellow, didn't show up well enough. So, and now I'm trying to decide what I want to do with these metal tags that I've had forever. And they have a fork and a knife on them, and they have spoons too, but I didn't use the spoon ones, just the fork and the knife, the 2 forks and a knife, one of those metal tags. And then I'm just fiddling around more with the positioning of how I want the elements on this page to lay out. And I definitely want to use this ribbon with the rhinestones across it on this page. So I lay that down where I think that's going to go. And I really liked it across the bottom, and I really liked the 3 metal tabs at the top there. So I'm going to play with this so that those elements can stay the same, because those are the elements right now in looking at the page that I really like, and I'm going to continue to fiddle around with the rest of it. And then I thought that I would try to use these gems this Prima bling, but it doesn't work out. So, and in fact, that bling is a bit too golden yellow, so it didn't work out at all against, the colors just weren't right. And I could have gone and gotten another one that was more just the straight rhinestones, but in the end, the layout wouldn't have supported the bling cluster anyway, so. So like I said, I am definitely sure I want to use those 3 tags, and I'm definitely sure that I want to use that ribbon, but at this point, I'm not sure what else is going to go on this page. But I definitely like that green and black diagonal stripe paper, so I want to really try to incorporate that somehow. And then, like I said, I'm going to back that today word with the black cardstock so that because it was about a lesson you learned in adulthood. I'm sorry, a lesson you learned in adulthood. So I definitely wanted to make the reference that it was today. You know, that this was something I learned. Well, I mean, I've been an adult for a long time. We won't talk about how long, but a long time. So, oh, we're gonna try the bling again. Give it up. It's not gonna work. Anyway. So here I'm starting to figure out that this is basically I'm really liking this layout so far, but I definitely feel like I need something in that top right-hand corner. So I'm going to look through my pattern papers again because I want it to be even, and it's going to make that gap. You see the gap between the tags and that pattern paper, but I really liked that pattern paper had like that coffee cup circle on it. And I thought that matched with like food and things like that. So I really liked that, and I wanted to keep that on the layout. And now I'm just going through some other embellishments, and I'm sitting here thinking there's that gap between that pattern paper and that black paper, and I'm not sure how I'm going to fill that in yet. So I'm still thinking about that. But as I'm thinking about that, I'm going through and looking for some other embellishments that I can use on the page. So I pulled those Tim Holtz Ideology buttons. I thought that I could use those. I got them at Tuesday morning, and now I'm looking through my collection of washi tape because I want to put a border between that green diagonal paper, that green and black diagonal paper, and the 2 elements at the top. So I'm going through all of the different colors of green washi, and it doesn't matter how many rolls of washi tape you own, you never have the color you want. It doesn't matter, like I have 100 rolls of washi tape, and I never have the color that I want. But, oh well. So I'm going to lay the picture down now. I'm finally getting ready to adhere some things because I'm really trying to get better about getting my layout, getting it sorted out before I start adhering it, because I have a bad habit of pulling things up and now I'm like, but what do I do about that gap? Oh, you know what? You could just cut down the green and black paper and it will work just fine. So now I got rid of that gap, and I'm thinking about where I need to cut that pattern paper with the coffee cup stain on it. And I put that down and get that all lined up. Cut off the excess there. And now I'm cutting the branding strip off of the bottom of that paper. And around my mat where I work, it's really, really messy when I'm working. As you can see, it's all kind of laid out all over the place there. And I'm using my T-square ruler to get it straight on the layout. And I'm keeping it up off the bottom of the page because I know I want that ribbon to go down. So I know that's going to take up a significant amount of ribbon of a space on the bottom of the layout. So I definitely wanted to keep the main part of the page with those layers up a little bit further. So I used some Tombow Mono Multi Glue to put that ribbon down. And once it's dry, it stays down. Once that glue dries, it really holds things. So I thought at first that I would just put the 2 forks up on the dimensional adhesive, but then I end up deciding that I'm going to put all of these tags up on dimensional adhesive. But guess what? I pulled the washi tape out and forgot about it. So now we're going to play around with trying to get the washi tape where it needs to be. Pull everything up, tuck it under here. See, when you watch one of my layouts, I show you all of the mistakes. Mostly because I'm lazy and I don't feel like editing. That's why I take them out of there. That's why I leave them in there. Yeah, that's not true. I do edit out quite a bit. Like a lot of the times when I'm sitting down and thinking about what I want to do, I edit a lot of that out. And there's a lot of times that I'll edit out things that, I tried and it didn't work, and I was fiddling around. But sometimes I leave some of that stuff in there because I get a lot of comments that say, that you guys really like to see, how the thought process works. So a lot of times I'll leave it in there so that you can see, why I decide to use a certain embellishment and why I don't. And this is something I've never done on a layout before. I'm using this Stampin' Up! Punch, and I'm gonna make these like journal lines. And I mean, this has been done since I've been watching scrapbook videos, but I've just never done it on a page, where I've actually just used, cuts or like printed it out on the printer and then cut it apart and used it as journaling. So I thought, for this layout, I'll use that. So I took some more of that pattern paper, the same as I used from the top, and I just I punched it out using that Stampin' Up! Punch, and then I'm just going to lay them down here, kind of going in an angle. And it's funny how this worked out because if I was smart, I would have turned that pattern paper so that the today and that angle matched a little bit better, but oh well. So now it's funny because the today, that line, and these are kind of intersecting with the lines on that green diagonal. But sometimes, not doing that kind of stuff, not switching it so that it's all matchy it actually turns out to give it some interest. So I was, in the end, after I had this all down, I was like, oh, I should have changed that. But then after looking at it for a while, I decided, I kind of liked it how it turned out. So I'm threading some twine through those buttons, and then I put the glue dot on the back because I find it's easier to tie once the twine is in place. And I'm just tying knots in these, no bows, because I can't tie a bow to save my life. I watched a Christina Werner video once, and she went through how to tie a bow really well, but I still can't. I think it's a patience thing. I think you have to be patient to tie a really good bow, and I'm definitely not patient. And thankfully for me, I don't end up using the same buttons on this layout, but I thought, oh, maybe I want, in that triangle, maybe I want two of the same button. So I'm lucky for me, I have two sets of those Tim Holtz buttons, but I ended up using three completely different buttons, so didn't really need to go get the second set, but oh well. Now at least I've put them all together. Now they're all in one little baggie now instead of being in two separate containers. So I'm going through some green alphabets to see what I'm going to use, and I'm going to use a very unique title here, and it's going to be very clever. It's going to be Eat Your Vegetables. Yeah. Clever titles are not my thing, so I actually deleted some of this. So there you go. I put the vegetables down and I deleted some of that. I'm trying to keep my videos under 20 minutes because that's about all the attention span that I have in watching videos, so I don't know if you guys feel the same way, if you could like watch them forever or whatever, but I'd like to keep my videos at about 20 minutes. And considering that on some of them I talk so much in the beginning, keeping it at 20 minutes sometimes is pretty tough. So here I decide that I'm gonna line buttons up that one side. And so I'm gonna, again, put the twine through them. And I'm sorry this moves off camera, but all I'm doing is threading the twine through it. And I put them down with the glue dots, and then I tie it because I feel like once the twine is stable in there, it's much easier to tie those knots. So that's what I'm doing. And that's basically going to wrap up the layout. Not much else happens on there. Except I decided that I threaded I threaded the twine through the wrong eyes of that button, and I thought I'm just going to leave it, I don't care. But in the end, I cared. So I had to pull it back up and thread it correctly because it wasn't going across the diagonal, it was going from left to right, and it was bothering me. So I had to go through and retie that. But that's going to finish up the layout. Thank you guys for watching. See you next time.